Assalamu alaikum Nazreen. Today we are very proud to have Mr. Ismail Sattar, who is the President of Employers Federation of Pakistan. We will of course talk to him about that organization as well, but our focus today would be in an area where he's passionate and that where he is the owner and the CEO of his business Hub Salt. So नाज़रीन, जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर माशाल्लाह मिनरल्स बहुत ज़्यादा हैं। हम बचपन से सुनते आ रहे हैं कि हम मिनरल्स के बारे के लिहाज से पाकिस्तान बहुत अमीर है। वी हैव 92 different types of minerals. About 600,000 kilometers of our land is covered. Minerals are under that 600,000 kilometers. Think about it. There are countries in the world like Brazil, China, Turkey, Spain that have earned a significant amount of money, have made significant contribution towards their GDP, exploiting the minerals that they have. Why aren't we able to do anything? Why is it that in Pakistan our export is a decimal point of what it should be? Why is it that we are never able to exceed, a double-digit contribution from minerals? Something that we have, something that God has endowed us with. So our conversation today with Mr. Sattar will focus on that. We will actually drill down in one specific type of opportunity that Mr. Sattar has discussed with me, and I'm very excited. And as we have mentioned before, Pakistan, mashallah, is a land of opportunities, and one of that opportunity today we'll be exploring. So thank you very much, sir. So मेरा पहला सवाल तो आपसे ये होगा सर कि if you could walk us through that particular mineral that we discussed and where we found it, what can we do with it, and how can someone like a middle class entrepreneur get into the game?
First of all, Dr. Saab, thank you very much for inviting me over, and it's an honor to be here at your facility. Pakistan is, alhamdulillah, blessed with everything. We have been hearing from all the past 4 or 5 prime ministers, what I have seen in my life, that Pakistan has everything. Pakistan has a lot of opportunities. But this is something which practically is available with us, and there are opportunities, and the most sad part of it is that we haven't done anything about it as yet. So there is a story behind this, behind the involvement of Employers Federation of Pakistan. There is a story. The story is that I was in Dubai, and I was in one of the salt seminars. It was a salt symposium, and I was giving a presentation on Pakistan's salt. So after the presentation was over, there was a Indian guy who came over to me, and he told me that he's facing some problems. He's importing magnesite from Pakistan, and for the past 2 months he's facing some problem in getting his raw material sourced into India. So the Pakistani mindset and the Pakistani jazba and the junoon it aroused, and I immediately started helping him out. That I told him immediately, get me connected to the company who is exporting you these minerals, and I'll try to help him. And then I helped him through a few friends. There were some mine site issues with that company, and we helped him out. Then there was a question in my mind that a mineral which is being exported in the raw form to a next country is being processed there, and why isn't we processing it here locally?
Right.
So I started researching on it. I dedicated a team of 2-3 people, all engineers, that please find out that why can't we do it locally. So there was finding that it was tried by a few Pakistani entrepreneurs, but they couldn't achieve the required purity levels, and that's why they abandoned their projects. So it even excited me further that this is an opportunity, and if somebody else can do it, we can do it.
Of course.
So we worked on it, and alhamdulillah, today we are manufacturing the best quality of MgO, magnesium oxide,
Okay,
in
right.
Pakistan, and we are also exporting it. And we have segmented our country as the top producer of this. When it comes to quality, we are the top producer. Egypt comes after us, and then the rest of the countries. So once I did it, that was for myself, for my company, HubSalt. But then once I did this, and it was not that difficult. Doing research back in the 1980s when I was researching on salt,
Right.
I used to spend sleepless nights inside libraries, There was no Dr. Google in those days.
Right.
So now doing research is not that difficult what it used to be in the 80s or 70s maybe. So I started finding out that how many minerals are there in Pakistan. I never knew we had 92 minerals. Then we came up with this figure after extensive research on it, that these are all available in Pakistan. And then we found out that already around 52 minerals we are mining already. But unfortunately, all of these minerals are being exported in the raw form. If you look at our export commodities, you won't find more than 12 items in a decent monetary zone, you know. We are exporting textiles, we are exporting auto parts, we are exporting rice, and like this we have 10 or 12 items. We badly need to diversify.
Right.
To export $1 billion worth of textiles, we have to import $500 million worth of inputs, you know.
Right.
So when you start converting your indigenous minerals into chemicals, you don't have to import a lot, just the capital equipment, the plant and machinery, because these industries are not presently, they are available, they are present, but they are not into that kind of business. So once the industry picks up and momentum is there, I'm sure local fabricating companies, they will all come up and start manufacturing the equipments required in the mineral processing. So then we started researching on different minerals, and then when we started getting a lot of appreciation, plus we started getting a lot of inquiries. Then I formalized it under Employers Federation of Pakistan, and we made a committee, and the name of the committee is From Minerals to Chemicals.
From minerals to chemicals. Excellent.
So
Excellent.
we are doing it in a very old-fashioned way. We are going very slow. We are picking up one by one minerals. We are processing it. Inside the lab, we are developing the process, we are working on the feasibilities, the costings, we are also working on the marketing side to see whether we can sell these because cost of production in Pakistan is
It's rather high.
comparatively
Yeah.
higher
Yeah.
because of the energy cost. So the first target is not to operate at the mining site, because the entrepreneurs are basically from the urban areas, big cities like Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, Quetta. So they prefer to work in their area, and they prefer to work with industries, but they want to stay away from mining. No problem. This is the first stage.
So I was actually going to ask you that. I'm glad that you led me to it. So when we start thinking about mining, right? I mean, and that was one of my concerns as well. What about logistics? What about supply chain? How is it secure, right? So if you can, yeah, just go ahead and
Absolutely secure.
yeah,
Because mining activity is already being done. We are exporting these minerals in the raw form.
right.
What we are trying to do is we are trying to convert these into value added products, different chemicals. I'll give you an example of a mineral called fluorspar. From fluorspar, a raw mineral, it's actually fluoride. So you can convert it very easily to calcium fluoride. When you produce calcium fluoride of 86 to 92%, it goes to the steel industry. But when you process it beyond 92%, you bring it to 94 or 96% purity levels, it becomes acid grade. The price variation is if a product starts in the raw form for $200 per ton and a decent steel grade goes up to $450, $500 per ton, but the acid grade it goes to $1,200 per ton.
Wow.
So look at the value addition
Right.
from $200
To
per ton
1200.
to $1,200 per
Right.
ton. And we are designing the process in such a way that we will be processing the worst of the quality. I mean, Pakistan has at an average 70 to 80%,
Right.
but we have designed the process on 50% purity levels. And the 50% raw material is being converted to 96% pure acid grade, which is top
Wow.
of the line. It's already been done by our local engineers, our local young
But
enterprising.
it didn't show up in the export figures for 2019 at
It's
least, right?
actually we have just
Okay, so this is an
started.
exploration.
There is
Okay.
there is no facility as yet, but it's done. It's ready in the labs. We have done it in the pilot scale. We have done it. The feasibility is ready. There is a factory being set up for this, and one of the investor who is already doing it, he'll be in production by the end of this year.
I see.
So in next year's figure, one small factory will give you export worth of 30, 40, 50 million dollars.
Mashallah, but that is
Inshallah,
really,
inshallah.
inshallah. Think about it. So, you know, Pakistan mineral exports, I'm sure you know, all go under code 25, and there is a 2523, which is cement, and we export $210 million according to the figures. And the second biggest number comes from chromium ores, concentrates. And that is the second highest export, and that's only $104 million. And that's boggling.
It's
Why
actually,
is it?
Dr. Saab, the problem is when you export a raw material, like I'll give you the example of chrome ore. Chrome ore, if you look at the per ton cost, it varies between $150 to $240 per ton. But when you convert that chrome ore into ferrochrome, it sells for $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 per ton.
Okay.
The conversion is very easy. You just need to process it through an arc furnace, and it's melted and converted into ferrochrome by addition of a few chemicals, and there's a process to it. But it's not rocket science anymore. My concern is, why can't we do such things within Pakistan? Why can't we value add to our products in Pakistan? And so that is what we are doing.
So I will, of course, I take your guidance and counseling because you are a subject matter expert. My research is very limited, and it was all triggered by our brief conversation in the elevator, of course, about a month ago. So from when I talk to other folks, people who have been in the industry and people who have been in the government, they tell me that, look, number one, security as an issue, infrastructure, and human resource. Have we addressed these issues? I mean, how are we doing with technology and human resource?
The technology is an issue. Why? Because this is not an area what is practiced in every nook and corner of Pakistan. This is an issue, but it's available. It's not something which is beyond reach. It is available. Like we have signed a partnership agreement with Netherlands organization, and that is called PUM Netherlands.
Boom.
They are helping us. They are helping. They are working with our engineers, and they are on Zoom on a daily basis. They were here for 2 months. They stayed in Pakistan, but it was back before the corona
COVID, yeah.
started, and now they are online helping our kids. And when you talk about research, the approach taken during that research is very important.
Okay. Sattar sahab, I'm going to, I know we can talk about this for a long time. मैं आपसे एक आखिरी सवाल करूंगा और उस पे ना आप मुझे ये बताएं, कोई एक यंग बच्चा है 20-25 साल का जो कि इंस्पायर हो रहा है आपकी स्टोरी सुन के, आई मीन दैट यू आर अ सक्सेस स्टोरी माशाल्लाह, वो दे वांट टू फॉलो यू. अगर वो कोई इंसान अपना इस लाइन में आना चाहे, इन्वेस्टमेंट करना चाहे, चाहे मैग्नीशियम में या फेरो में जिस तरह आपने बात की, इनमें से किसी में भी, उसको क्या करना चाहिए अभी? What does one do? Beside of course the डॉक्टर गूगल के पास जाने के अलावा.
देखिए, it is very simple. It is not very difficult. When I started my life in 1983, you can imagine how difficult it was to do research. I've converted the salt industry. उस ज़माने में ना, it used to be the salt walas used to be chakki walas. They used to be called grinder चलाते थे. They used to be called chakki walas. I converted this industry into a proper chemical food industry.
Right.
We are also producing sodium chloride for the IV saline solution. So what was the way to do it? It was R&D, because every day there is a new learning in any industry. If you look at the graph of people who have done something from a normal product, you will find that research was the backbone. It is always the backbone for anything. If any young student, young entrepreneur, I mean, when I started, I was only 16 years old. So these days the trend has changed.
Right.
Kids, they start their life when they are 22, 23. So they can come to me, they can come to the Employers Federation of Pakistan, will guide them, will give them a list of opportunities. They can work on their own, they can work with our team, but please become entrepreneurs. Please go and set up, because there are, two types of businesses. One is trading and the other is manufacturing. Both these segments of businesses, I mean, they are poles apart. There is a mindset which is called trader's mindset, and there is a mindset which is called manufacturer's mindset. A manufacturer starting a factory today will keep on reinvesting. He can't afford to, draw out profits soon.
Right.
A trader's mindset is, आज काम किया, शाम को जेब में नफ़ा या नुकसान दोनों में से कुछ भी आना चाहिए या जाना चाहिए. So manufacturing mindset is what is required by our country at this time, and we have wonderful people. These kids, they are super talented kids. They just need proper guidance, proper support, and a decent leadership to guide them through.
Thank you so very much, Sattar Saab. Nazreen, I hope that you were paying close attention to what he just said. He's offered you कि अगर आप Employers Federation of Pakistan से रब्ता करें, तो इनका पाकिस्तान फेडरेशन का जो अमला है, वो आपको आपका हाथ पकड़ के ऑलमोस्ट आपको इस बिज़नेस की तरफ ला सकता है. अगर आप के अंदर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप है, अगर आप समझते हैं कि पाकिस्तान इज़ अ लैंड ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी, इफ़ यू बिलीव इन योरसेल्फ, इफ़ यू बिलीव इन योर कंट्री, आई वुड हाईली रेकमेंड that you take some action. We will be talking to Sattar Saab inshallah next time. He has a really interesting profile from where he started and where he sits today. But for today, my goal was to give you a nugget, a practical tip, something that you could take to the bank. Thank you very much, Sattar Saab. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. अस्सलाम वालेकुम.